Today we just got done watching the movie Chappie, the new movie by Neil Blomkamp that just hit theaters. Kind of came out to a little mixed reviews. Some people hate it, some people like it.
This is a new kind of life form, a new step in evolution. You are Chappie.
Chappie is basically if you mix RoboCop with Short Circuit too. The story follows Dave Patel. He makes these security bots that are acting as a police force in Johannesburg.
The planet's first robotic police units. Became the focus of the world in 2016.
Drop your weapons, you're under arrest.
But he has this new idea of giving it artificial intelligence.
The Scout's creator, Dion Wilson, sees a rich future.
What interests me is a machine that can think and feel.
It's an actual sentient being, so it's forced to choose between the gangster life and being a nice little robot.
When you first meet Chappie, he's like a baby.
Yes.
Child has to learn.
What's that? Chappie's book?
Yeah, it's yours.
Chappie's got stories? Chappie's got a book?
Anything you want to do in your life, you can do. Write poetry, have original ideas.
Chappie wants to paint?
Wow.
What in the name of the Lord?
So, you get to see him explore his surroundings. That's something new to him.
Yeah, Chappie, I like that. You know what? Because most movies with the robots in it, they say that they're not developed, but then all of a sudden they'll be super developed. But Chappie was actually a child.
Robot, he's got to be removed.
He's just a kid.
Even a robot's a big problem for me.
You get to see how he learned about life and what life means. What is it just to have a soul?
And he is a damaged robot, so he has to do all this in 5 days. Because the battery is fused to his chest plate, so they can't replenish his life. Because he calls Dave Patel his maker. So there's this little hint of like religious undertones to the movie, where it's like, why would my maker make me if I just to die? And when I could be immortal, but he purposely made me so that I could die in 5 days. And it's a pretty interesting if you dig that deep into it. But I could see where people don't because of the main characters, which would really technically be Diane Antwoord.
You want to be cool, you have to act cool. The gangster. Yeah, keep it gangster. I've got blinks. I've got blinks.
Which was probably what's really splitting people down the middle on this movie.
Diane Antwoord is a South African group consisting of Yolandi and Ninja.
They're basically a rap, techno, pop music. Like, it's fucking strange.
Very popular in South Africa.
I like weird shit, and they fall into the category of really weird shit, so I don't mind them.
The problem doesn't lie with them. The problem lies with them plugging themselves that entire movie. That's the problem. They play themselves because their name is Yolandi and Ninja. Okay? That's the names of the movie. That's their real names.
That's
in
real
life.
much.
Okay? Not only that, every time you see them, they have their own music playing in the background.
And they have their own shirts on.
They have their own
and
shirts
they have their
on.
faces on their shirts.
That's it. Come. Your name. Chappie.
That was the biggest problem. I mean, as acting-wise, I thought they actually did pretty good. For musicians that have never acted before, I thought they did a pretty damn good job, but...
She did.
Yeah, she did. Even he did for an extent. You don't think so?
I ain't like Ninja. Ninja could go be a ninja somewhere else.
I thought he didn't do that bad, acting-wise.
Because I find her most annoying, but I didn't mind her acting.
If you know who they are, you're gonna be reminded of who they are during the movie, and it takes you out of what's happening. Because every 5 seconds they got their damn shirt on, and you're being reminded of who they are every 5 minutes. That you can't they're not characters in this movie, they are themselves. And it just doesn't work for what's going on.
There's a specific part of the movie where they zoom in on the shirt that says Diane Antwoord, and it's them on their shirt.
Right, yeah, right.
And the camera zooms in on it and it stays on it for like a good 15 seconds.
They play their music throughout the entire movie, like the whole soundtrack. They play these gangsters that are trying to get money from this other gangster apparently that they lost money for, and they're trying to convince Chappie to go on with them because he's a robot and he's indestructible, and they want him to help them get the money. But they're basically manipulating him into being a gangster while Dave Patel is trying to get him to be an intelligent, thoughtful, intelligent being.
Vincent Moore is a former soldier.
Problem with artificial intelligence is it's way too unpredictable.
The problem lies with Hugh Jackman, who has this Ed 209 ripoff robot
called the Moose.
It's called the Moose, which is more of a militaristic alternative to these scouts that Dave Patel built. He wants these things on the street, but they're gigantic war machines. He uses Chappie to his advantage to get Sigourney Weaver, who is their boss, who doesn't really do much in this movie. It could have really been anybody. Use it as an excuse to put this gigantic war machine to use.
Even a robot's a big problem for me.
A thinking robot could be the end of mankind. Destroy that robot. Burn it to ash.
Something of great danger headed our way now.
I don't want to die. I want to live.
I mean, it's a very thoughtful movie. I can see why people complain about Diane work. It's distracting.
Yes.
If anything, it's distracting.
Yes.
You could have had anybody else do that, and it would have been. I think people would have let me like the movie a little better.
The main focus of the movie is not Diane. The main focus of the movie is, Chappie. And you do get an emotional attachment to Chappie. They did that very well. Chappie will fucking tug your string like this.
And it's funny. Like, it's pretty funny to see him interact with, the thugs and trying to learn how to, to be a human. It's actually, that's done very well.
And just like a kid, they coerce him into doing something, but they disguise it as a game, so he wouldn't think he was doing anything bad.
Because, they want him to hurt people because, you have to be a robber. But they say, oh no, you just use knives, and they just go sleepy. So he doesn't know that he's actually hurting people. And there's a scene where he throws it, and he sees one of these cops laying on the floor, and the cop's like, oh my god, please don't kill me. And he actually is like, holy shit.
That's when he realizes it.
Yeah, he actually realized, holy shit, I'm not putting people to sleep. I'm actually hurting people. And he has remorse for that, because he's his own being.
By a thinking human being.
We don't want this. It's expensive, it's big, and it's ugly.
The Scouts are a huge success. Stop worrying about these pet projects.
It's set in South Africa, so you have that aesthetic. It looks dirty, it looks grungy. And I can see that's why some people may have problems with, Diane Antwoord's characters, even though take out that they were Diane Antwoord, because they're not good human beings. They are criminals. So it's kind of hard to relate to somebody that's that. Because some parts, like with Ninja in the beginning, were kind of really cold-blooded shit.
Yeah.
Like, you were like, holy shit, that's a little dark. And I can see why people have a problem connecting with that, because you're not used to that. But they're in South Africa, that's how they survive in South Africa.
Right.
So, they're not necessarily bad people, but that's just what they have to do to survive in that environment. So it's a little hard to, relate to that.
She's the more relatable one. She's the one that treats Chappie like a child.
Yeah, they actually call her mommy in the movie.
Right, he calls her mommy.
She acts as the mother figure.
She treats him like if he was her child.
Yeah.
And you can see that the bond they had. You can see that he treats her like she really is his mother.
He treated every single person differently because, Yolandi was the mom, so she treats like a mother. And then Ninja's the father, but he's a little abusive, so he treats him like he respects him, he listens to him, but sometimes he's also afraid of him.
Right.
He treats him differently. And Dave Patel, you would think he would have the same kind of relationship, but he treats him as a creator. So, he kind of treats him like he's basically God. So he always asks him questions about, why I got made, and why would you make me as I die, and all this kind of stuff.
And then he treats the other character, America.
Yeah,
the Spanish guy named America. He treats him like a big brother, so he kind of does what he says. He looks up to him.
He follows him even though he knows it's wrong, but he'll actually imitate him more.
Where Ninja would be the strict one, and Chappie would be threatened by it. America would do the exact same thing Ninja did, but just do it in a manner that Chappie would understand it. And
exactly, yeah. He would tone it down just a notch.
So you get that good family dynamic.
Exactly. I thought everything looked fine in it, the effects were good, the fight scenes are good, they're very, there's a couple of shootouts that are well done. When that Ed 209 comes, the movie is highly entertaining. When that thing lands, you are engaged, it is just a full-out fight, and it's amazing.
If you want to survive, Chappie, you must fight.
I mean, I love District 9. Elysium, not so much. And this one, I'm kind of in the middle on, just for some things. But I did like it a lot, though. I would definitely watch it again.
It has a lot of different themes to it,
Yeah.
It has the immortality theme.
You just have to look past the bullshit. Because there is a lot of bullshit in there. Fine, because there is a couple things where that place is a highly military security aid place, but yet there's no security in this place. This dude is just taking robots in and out of this place every day, and you're like, all right, that's a little weird. I don't think the movie deserves all the hate that it's getting.
I'll tell you one thing though, that ending will fuck you up.
The ending is bad.
The last 5 seconds of that movie.
I equivalent the ending to if you're a Seattle Seahawk fan, that's probably what you're gonna feel like the Super Bowl felt like to you.
That interception, that's what happened at that movie.
Yep, you had it.
You had a great movie going.
The last 20 seconds.
That interception.
You threw it.
And I'm like, ugh. Why would you do that? That ending took me out of that entire movie.
It did. The ending was bad. As much as I liked the movie, the ending was bad.
Really bad.
Really bad.
It was just another plug for Diane Wood.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just another plug for him.
Yes, it was.
And no ending of a movie should be a plug for anybody.
Chappie, I think it's worth seeing. Visually, it's pretty stunning. There are plot holes. Diane Wood could be a little distracting. If you know who they are, if you've seen their music videos, it's very distracting because you'll constantly be reminded that they are Diane Wood. They're not characters. Right. They are themselves. If you don't know who they are, you might not be as distracted because you'll hear the music and you don't know who it is. Now when you go to YouTube and find Diane Wood and you see that, you're gonna be like, oh fuck, and I can't get it. Yeah. I can't separate the two.
You're welcome.
I'm about A-.
I give it a B+. Some certain plot holes were in the movie. Well, the acting is well done, with the exception of Ninja. I really honestly don't like that. The African drug lord.
Oh, the main...
That character.
The sub-main character? He was
that character useless. I didn't like. I didn't like that. Sigourney Weaver was a pointless addition to that movie.
They wasted Sigourney Weaver.
That's a waste of a casting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. That ending though, it really, really took me out of that movie.
The only problem I really have with the movie was the ending. I mean, that's really the absolute only problem I really had, because that ending was just so bad. It just was like, oh fuck. I was like, oh my god, you had me for the last 20 seconds. Literally the last 20 seconds. And you felt for this robot. You wanted him. You rooted for him. You felt bad when he was being abused by, random thugs or Ninja. When he abuses him, you feel bad for it. I think all the good things trump that stuff. If you look deeper, when they're talking about why would God create you just to die. There's a dead Pitbull and there's a big fighting Pitbull. And the guy's like, you can either be the dead Pitbull or you could be the big Pitbull that's mean but survives.
Right.
Like, that kind of stuff I dug. I like that kind of stuff. It was a little deeper than most movies are nowadays. And the violence, of course. I mean, when that Ed 219 ripoff came, it was a monster.
Well, that's why it was actually Hugh Jackman versus,
getting that ass.
versus Chappie. It's Hugh Jackman himself versus Chappie, so it's Wolverine versus Chappie. And that ending fight is worth the movie.
Yes, and even acting wise, like when Chappie barges in and he's like pissed off, I'm like, oh my god. I was like, this thing is pissed off.
Definitely go see the movie.
Yeah, if you can get past Diane Wood's ridiculousness, and unfortunately you're gonna have to see the end. Unfortunately, I don't see anybody liking the end of this movie. I really don't.
Yeah, that's my biggest negatives to the movie. Diane Wood, they're selfish plugs of themselves in that movie. That bothers the entire movie.
It was excessive.
Because I'm like, really, come on. Every time you got in a car, they were playing.
I don't even mind the plugs, but it's gotta be something.
You know what?
You can't be wearing your face.
There was one plug in that movie I did not mind, and it was written on a wall, and it said, it was a guy with a pit bull head, and it said, I'm a pit bull, which is one of their songs, I'm a pit bull terrier.
That's fine.
That one I did not mind, because I was like, look at that thing.
Like when they have like the tension logos, fine. Like stuff like that is fine. Even when you have their symbol, not everyone's gonna know what that is. That's fine. But when you have your name and your face, and you're in the movie, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm looking at. It's weird. It takes you out of what the fuck is happening. Especially if you know who they are. Like, you know who they are, and it takes me out of the movie because all I see is that. If I don't want to see Sylvester Stallone in a Rambo movie wearing a Rocky shirt, it's gonna fuck me up. It's gonna fuck me up. I can't. That just takes me out.
You can get past that though. Chappie was an amazing movie.
Yes, I think it doesn't deserve all the hate it's getting. It's definitely a passable movie, especially nowadays. How sci-fi movies are. It's definitely a passable sci-fi movie.
Right.
You like my pizza?
You think you're real?
You don't get away with this.
He's special!
I am consciousness. I am alive. I am Chappie.
Thank you everybody for watching. This was our review on Chappie, and we'll see you next time.
I don't want to die.